Hello, in this video we'll go over Zirconia crown design using the CEREC software. We will be doing tooth number 19. We'll go ahead and select the tooth. We can also change the material we're using, however we are using Dentsply Sirona's MTL Zirconia here. We're going to go ahead and click Acquisition. We need to make sure we have 100% of the preparation and the interproximal contact areas of adjacent teeth. In normal situations, we'll only scan the quadrant in which the preparation exists. However, in this case, we are also printing the model. So we need to make sure we have a full arch scan as well as adequate depth of vestibule. Make sure you have bilateral interocclusal records and click Model. If your margin and scans are adequate, software should automatically detect the margins. However, in some situations, it's required to modify those margins, as is the case in this area here. To do that, we are going to double left click in the last adequate area of the margin. And then with a series of single clicks, we're going to extend a corrected margin all the way until we meet up with another correct area of the margin and double click to reestablish the correct margin. This margin seems to be adequate all around. It's important to evaluate the margin from different angles. However, in some cases, you might want to delete the margin entirely. In this case, press the delete button. Now you can manually mark the margin using the magnetic tool. To do that, we are going to double click at the edge of the margin and then keep the cursor within the margin. The magnetic tool will automatically drop the margin to the nearest edge. You might need to click on one area or the other on the edge of the margin and then go all the way around up until you meet up with your initial double click and double click again. That would establish the margin at the edge. Once you've established your margin, you can again check it from different angles to make sure it's adequate. Once you're satisfied, go ahead and click Design. At this stage, we're going to check for minimum thickness errors to make sure we have adequate occlusal clearance. We can turn down the translucency of the crown to confirm sufficient occlusal clearance. And then we will hide the mandibular arch in order to evaluate the interproximal contacts. You generally would like to see the green on both sides. Some people would like to create a little island of yellow within the green and then adjust it intraorally. It is common to need to adjust the areas gingival to the interproximal contact areas in cases with large interproximal embrasures, as is the case in this typodont here. In order to ensure adequate seating of the crown, nothing should be wider than the interproximal contact gingival to the interproximal contact. So we will need to use the shape tool in order to push that area gingival to the contact a little bit more inside the crown, so that the widest area of the crown is the interproximal contact. We will do this on the other side as well. It's advised to check your interproximal contacts after every adjustment to make sure your contacts are still green and not open. Once the crown is ready, we'll go ahead and click Manufacture. In this stage, we'll be able to see how the crown fits within the block. We'll also make sure that the dry mill is selected, and we'll be able to select the correct shade of the final zirconia. We can also export this crown. We'll show you this in a separate video. Thank you for joining us.